What's up, guys? Shuckle King here for week 3 of MLBA versus Chew, who's currently 1-1 and is the coach of the Jacksonville Jolteons. Now, Jacksonville really got rigged, I would say, in that matchup against the Patriots. That was pretty unfortunate there. It would have been cool to see a Jacksonville Philly Super Bowl, but the NFL probably didn't want that, so that is what it is there. So anyway, so this battle's posted now, which is on a Monday the 22nd, and should have been due a while ago. So my apologies for that. I moved because I got a new job, so I was staying with relatives for a while until my apartment became available. And once it was available, I didn't have internet for almost a week, so I couldn't really record. And then from there, I had to get my microphone until 2 days ago. So my apologies for not posting until now, but week 3 will be up today, and then week 4 will be posted tomorrow, and the rest of the season should be pretty consistent with the uploads on Tuesday. And moving in my new apartment might give me more opportunities to record, so we'll see there. Anyway, the team that he has that he could bring against me from most elite threatening, as you can see in the corner there, are Kieran Black, Heatran, Reuniclus, Mega Bane, Tentacruel, Halucha, Substrika, Rhydon, Tapu Bulu, Aldino, and Wooper. I can't discount Wooper. He has pretty good success with it so far in the season, so check his channel out. I'll leave it in the description below, as well as all the other coaches in the league here. But I feel like I have a pretty good matchup. He doesn't have like the broken mon like I do with Landers and Neganadel or other teams have. He has a very balanced team, I would say. Bulu Heatran's a good combination, and Kieran fits in very nicely there to have a Dragon Fairy Steel Core. But really, the only Pokemon I'm terribly threatened about are the Kieran Black, just because it's so versatile, can shred my team if it's Scarfed and outspeed everything, like my Naganadel if I don't have Speed Boost or Landorus, or he could just be a physical set and break down all my walls. So that's very annoying. Heatran can handle the Naganadel very well, whether it's Air Balloon, whether it's AV, could even be like Scarfed with Earth Power or Hidden Power Ice, which would also hit the Landorus. Reuniclus can be a problem because I don't have any Dark types, so he can easily run a Calm Mind, Acid Armor, Recover, Stored Power, Psychic, Sack Shock, whatever move there. So Reuniclus is going to be a problem. And Mega Bane is not the biggest problem, but the thing is, it can go 1-for-1 with a Landorus or Naganadel with a Priority Destiny Bond. And I really want to lose a Lando I or Naganadel in this matchup. So I got to figure out ways around that. Other than that, nothing terribly threatening really on his team. Holuchi can do a little bit of damage. I let it set up too much, especially with Bulu with grassy terrain there. Bulu could come, but I feel like Landorus' poison moves. Mega Galley can have poison moves. Thunder T can have poison moves. Naganadel, obviously, so that could be a tough bring there. Tentacruel could come for removing hazards and maybe taking on Naganadel. But otherwise, I feel like I have a pretty good matchup in this game. So the 3 Pokemon I feel like do best in this team are Lando I, just because Earth Power plus Sludge Wave basically hits everything. No switch-ins. Maybe like a Zolfest Mon somewhere, or a Dino could probably take it on. That's really the only Mon that I can feel confidently handles Earth Power plus Sludge Wave from Lando I. So that's a big threat there. Naganadel, obviously, is such a huge threat. Heatran counters it pretty well. Reuniclus can also take hits if it's a AV or especially defensive. And of course, Magnet with Destiny Bond could be a problem there. And I guess AV Tentacruel could handle it. It could at least take a hit. It can only do like Mirror Coat back to me though, so I would just be able to set up on that pretty easily, unless if it has Haze or something. And the third Mon is Mew, just because I have a ton of options with Mew in this matchup. It also outspeeds a lot of his Mons on his teams. His team is fairly slow. So here's the team I brought. First Pokemon I have, as I said before, is Landorus, Bodyguard, with Life Orb, Sludge Wave with Earth Power, as I said before. Substitute Toxic. Now the speed allows me to outspeed Heatran. I don't think Kieran Black's going to come with a ton of speed on his team, so I'm pretty confident I can just outspeed the Heatran, and I'll probably be outspeeding the Kieran Black as well. That bulk actually allows me to live a +2 acrobatics from Hawlucha if I have to do that, and probably kill with a Sludge Wave, assuming I'm going to get prior damage or Stealth Rocks up in this matchup. Substitute Toxic is my way to somewhat handle the Mega Banette. If he goes for a Destiny Bond, I can sub on that, and then Toxic, and then between that and Sludge Wave, I should be able to chip it down in rage where Toxic takes out the Mega Banette, and so I won't die to Destiny Bond there. So that would be cool, because residual damage wouldn't come into effect. Even if he Destiny Bonds and he dies to Toxic, I wouldn't die from that. And the rest in special attack just to hit his team very, very hard. Again, Aldino can do somewhat well, especially if Ice Beam, because he'll probably have a heal belt, but otherwise, not many switch-ins on his team. Next is Naganadel with Nasty Plot, Hidden Power Ground, Draco Meteor, Sludge Wave with Dragonium Z. Hidden Power Ground is to hit that Heat Ran. If it's Air Balloon, that's a problem, but I should be able to 2-hit KO it with an Assault Vest, even if he has Assault Vest, unless he's very, very specially defensive. But then he probably won't be able to take me out with an Earth Power. Otherwise, set's pretty standard. Outspeeds Hawlucha with no speed on burden boosts. Next Pokemon I have is Mussolini and Mew with a very physically defensive spread with Will-O-Wisp to hit the Tapu Bulu, Earthquake to hit the Heat Ran, which usually Heat Ran's a pretty good answer to Mew, and then Zen Headbutt will hit the Tentacruel, hits everything for really neutral damage for the most part. Also hits the Venomoth. I think I forgot to put that in the matchup too, but he also has a Venomoth. But I'm not too threatened by that. I don't think it's going to come. I do have Naganadel and Landorus to outspeed it initially, make a Gallade. It can't really set up that easily. And Skarmory could Whirlwind it if it could try to set up on that. Next Pokemon I have is Jerome Bettis, the Skarmory. Interesting spread here. Max attack, essentially max speed. This allows me to outspeed Kyurem Black, Heatran, and Tapu Bulu unless they are plus speed nature. So if they're not plus speed nature, then I do outspeed them. This is essentially to outspeed stuff that are speed creeping my Kingler if I brought max speed there. Iron Head hits the Tapu Bulu and the Kyurem Black pretty hard. Also hits like the Tentacruel if it's no speed for a little bit of damage. It's not going to do a ton. Stealth Rocks and Spikes to try to get as many hazards up as possible. Whirlwind in case like Reuniclus or Hawlucha or even Venomoth become a little too threatening. Next I have Max Attack, Max Speed, Mega Gallade to outspeed Kyurem Black with Max Speed. Swords Dance knockoff Close Combat Psycho Cut. Psycho Cut over Zen Headbutt just because I don't need any of the additional damage with Zen Headbutt versus Psycho Cut and I don't want to miss. So that's nice to have. Close Combat plus knockoff basically nukes anything on his team there except for the Tapu Bulu. But I am assuming that he's going to be afraid of using Tapu Bulu as a switch into Mega Gallade just because Poison Jab is a pretty common move to have to combat Tapu Bulu. But we'll see there. Otherwise, it hits his team incredibly hard. And last, we have my Reuniclus answer in Thunderous Therian with max special attack, enough speed, again to outspeed a max speed Kyurem Black, though I doubt he's going to bring that. Just in case, Sludge Wave to hit the Bulu, Dark Pulse, and Taunt. Deal with Reuniclus. It can set up Calm Minds me consistently. I can Dark Pulse it to a low enough range where I can Revenge Kill with, say, Mega Gallade in case he's a Colbur Berry. Dark Pulse will also take away the Colbur Berry there. Or Naganadel or another Mon, maybe like Landorus, depending how low I get it with Thunderous. So that's pretty much the team. Let's see how well it does in the match. Alright, here we are for the team against Chew. As you can see, he does bring Kyurem Black, Heatran, Reuniclus, Mega Banette, all the foremost threatening Mons, in my opinion, plus Hawlucha, Tapu Bulu, which is some sort of speed combination there, I'm sure. So not really surprised at this team at all. So I feel like Landorus plus Naganadel have a really, really good matchup. Gallade is also nice in this matchup, as only Bulu counters me, but you have to figure out if he realizes that or not how early on in the match. So I'm going to lead with Skarmory, because it has a good matchup against basically everything except for Kieran Black, and I guess somewhat Heat Ran, but really only to Kieran Black, because I can set up rocks or spikes on anything on his team here. Even a Heat Ran goes for like a flamethrower or a lava plume, takes me down to my sturdy. As long as I don't get burned, I should get rocks plus spikes up in this match, which will be really nice. He does leave it to Kyurem though, and he does have a chance to knock me out with like an Electrinium Z or a special like Sub-Zero Slammer. So I basically have to find a sack at this point in the game, which is really unfortunate. But I'm going to sack my other defensive threat, which will be Mew. Very unfortunate here. Based on the damage that he does, I find out that he's modest Ice Beam Sub-Zero Slammer, because otherwise any ice physical move wouldn't have done that much damage because I was max physically defensive. So I guess it was good information to find out that he was modest. Also means my Skarmory has a good chance to outspeed, because I know it's not timid, but you can even run enough speed to outspeed my Skarmory set without being plus B nature. So he takes out my Mew, which is unfortunate, by bringing my Gallade, and he does go right into the Bulu, which I find out is Grassy Seed, which is interesting. I Psycho Cut crit. Doesn't make too much of a difference, because I'm not going to stay on this, because even if I crit again, I'm not going to kill, and I don't want him doing whatever damage he's going to do back to me. But based off this damage, he's a max HP, max defensive Tapu Bulu. Interesting. I guess this is really his counter to a Mega Gallade, and I guess at this range, a Poison Jab wouldn't even knock it out. So interesting prep on his part, but I know it's not as threatening attacking-wise. So my Naganadel should be able to take like a hit, even like a Wood Hammer, pretty comfortably. So I'm going to go into my Skarmory, because he can't do too much to me. He goes for the Leech Seed, which is fine. This does give me an opportunity to set up the rocks we see right here, which is nice. I could Whirlwind this out, but I don't have leftovers, and I don't want this to recover much, so I'm going to go into my Reuniclus check. Based off that Dark Pulse damage, he's max specially defensive Reuniclus, which is annoying, but I can taunt it here, so he can't set up Coal Mines even more, and I can Dark Pulse it to get it low enough where Mega Gallade or Landorus can take it out. I flinched there, which is cool, and I'm actually going to flinch a second time. At the minimum, this would have happened even if he didn't get flinched twice and knocked me out with Psychic. He would have been at this amount of HP, because I would have lived a +1 Psychic and done a second Dark Pulse. But he gets flinched twice, assuming that he's going to just attack me, because I could taunt him and then I would shut him down again. I go for the Dark Pulse here, but he actually does not Psychic me to get off damage he recovers, which I feel like it's a weird play, just because at the HP he was at, I could revenge come pretty easily with basically anything but Skarmory, so I don't know why he was trying to recover at that point, but good play by him. Don't think this was a good play to recover again, because I do have the taunt, so I'm not going to let you set up. But I get him low enough to where, see, as I do live a +1 Psychic, I'm going to get him pretty low here with another Dark Pulse, and I should be able to revenge come with anything except for Skarmory pretty easily. So I'm going to go into my Mega Gallade here. Egos and Bulu, which is fine. That gives me a free switch into either Skarmory or Naganadel after this opportunity here. So I'm going to go into Skarmory and hopefully get spikes up. Goes for the Leech Seed, which is fine. Actually, I figured I wanted Iron Head to do as much damage as possible to this to get it low, so Mega Gallade can maybe sweep later on in the match. So I go for the Iron Head. It goes into Kieran Black, which is great. I do a ton of damage to that. Maybe he was expecting I'd be a Brave Bird instead. And I guess Heat Ran was a pretty safe switch in there. So I don't know why he didn't go into that unless it's Scarfed. And I would be doing like a decent amount of damage, so I'm not at time, but enough. So in my mind, I'm assuming that his Heat Ran is Scarfed, maybe with rocks, maybe without rocks. Rocks aren't the biggest nuisance to my team, so I'm not surprised he wouldn't be non-rocks Heat Ran. But we'll see later on. So I Iron Head here, and I actually outspeed because he was having enough speed to outspeed my Kingler, as I kind of imagined, and built this to outspeed like Bulu or Heatran or this, unless they were a lot of speed and plus speed nature. So I do take out the Kieran Black, which is great for me. Grassy Seed Halucha is a problem, and I don't want that to set up, so I'm going to go for the Whirlwind. He goes into Reuniclus, which is really sucky, because he gets all this recovery back. And now I can't take him out with Lando. Naganadel would have to use a Z move to take it out, and Mega Gallade is really the only thing that can take it on pretty easily. So he goes to the recover there. That's really annoying that he got blown into a Reuniclus there. I'm going to set up a Sword Stance on this. You can't really do much about it, but I need this Gallade here to take on the Heatran, so I can live a hit from that and take it out, or I can kill the Reuniclus pretty easily with Gallade, because he's not max defensive. So I don't want to get burned here, so I'm going to sack off my Skarmory, who doesn't really care about getting burned or not. He misses the Willow, which is fine. I predict him to go for the Taunt and go for the Iron Head just to get some chip damage off, which I do there. He goes into Heatran, which is a good play. I'm going to Iron Head and not do much damage, but enough damage to know that he is no HP investment, which is nice to know. He actually over-predicts here and gets a crit with Flash Cannon, which did make a difference because I would have lived and gotten a spike up, and then with Custap Berry would have gotten 2 spikes up, which would have been very, very nice to take on the Bulu easier on at the end of the match. But he gets a crit. Not the biggest deal in the world, just annoying I couldn't get some spikes up. So assuming he's Scarfed, I can take a hit with Landorus and just go through the Earth Power here and take out a huge threat in Heatran, but he switches, which is fine. I'm bulky enough to take on Halucha pretty easily and just kill with a Sludge Wave here. Goes into Heatran. I know it's Scarfed, assuming he's going to lock himself into like Hidden Power Ice. He goes for the Flash Cannon. Interesting play there, because I could have lived that. Based on the HP I was at, I was bulky enough. I guess he was assuming I was no bulk, which is a pretty safe assumption there, because Landers usually aren't that bulky. But as I said in my team builder, I don't need a whole lot of speed to outspeed most of the stuff on his team that I want to outspeed. So he goes for the Flash Cannon, does half the Gallade. Now I know he's not going to want to risk his Heatran here, because it's very crucial to take on my Naganadel. So I can just fire off a close combat, take his Bulu down a little bit more. It also gives me a free switch into Naganadel. He can't really do much to that unless he double switches into Heatran, which would be a crazy play if he did that. So here, I'm going to go for the Nasty Plat. And it's a pretty safe play. He could have gone into Heatran there, which would have been annoying, but he would have had to gone for Earth Power or Hidden Power Ice, and I should be able to take 2 of those with Mega Gallade. If goes for Hidden Power Ice and Earth Power, obviously Lando takes on very well. He probably would have to go for Hidden Power Ice, which I don't even know would knock me out at the kind of HP I'm at right now. So I'm going to just sack off my Naganadel to Mega Banette, but he does not go for the Destiny Bond. He does have it, so maybe he was thinking I was going to substitute or go for another Nasty Plat. But thing is, even if I predict that and go for the Nasty Plat and then attack him on the next turn, because of how Destiny Bond works, the effect of Destiny Bond would have lasted until his next attack. So I still would have gone down either way. So I don't agree with the taunt play there, but it's fine for me. I expected this to go down, but I actually get a kill and get a speed boost, which is very, very cool. Now Reuniclus comes in, and Reuniclus can take a +2 Draco Meteor. Not a Z, but takes a +2 because it's especially defensive. So I'm predicting that he was going to go for the recover, assuming I was going to go for the Drake. It would do like 90%. I need to be able to recover, get some grassy terrain boost, and I wouldn't be doing a whole lot of damage at +0 to Reuniclus. So I predict him to go for the recover, scout him out, just go for the Sludge Wave, and he does go for the Psychic, which is fine. I probably should have Draco'd looking back on it, but he's low enough to where Gallade can easily knock it out with a knockoff, but I know he's not going to want to lose his Reuniclus this easily just because it handles the Landorus very well. So I predict that and go for the Sword Stance, and at this point it's pretty much game, because with the Grassy Terrain recovery he's giving you a Tapu Bulu, I can take any hit that the Heat Ran wants to go for. And as you can see, it protects there, which didn't make a difference. I think if I got the lowest of lowest rolls, he would have survived, but otherwise I had a very, very good chance of knocking it out. And all his HP recoveries, putting my Heat Ran, giving his Heat Ran a very low chance to knock me out. He also thought this was a misplay, not attack me with his Reuniclus, which I kind of agree with, but even then, if he just Horn Leeched with his Tapu Bulu on my Landers, I had a chance to live that based on my bulk, so I would have been in pretty good shape there. I would have had a 50-50 with a Earth Power or a Sludge Wave at that point to hit the Heat Ran there. So I don't think it was the worst play by switching in on the Bulu there. I just assumed he was going to do it because he was doing that throughout the match as his way to handle the Gallade. So I am going to knock it out with a Psycho Cut. I can live any hit from the Heat Ran. I probably should have gone for knockoff here, but just in case, I'd go for the safe close combat. I kill the Reuniclus. He goes back in a Heat Ran, obviously. I'll let him knock out my Landorus, just to ensure that I live with no special defense drops. The only way he wins is if he gets a crit with a Flamethrower. I think he wins. Even if he gets a crit, there is a chance I could live. Or if he got the burn, but he got neither. So I do knock it out with close combat, and it's a 1-0 victory. Oh, by the way, what's this guy's name that was in the chat? John Bina? He's very annoying, too. You gotta control that stuff. He was trying to... I was pretty confident he knew your team, and I think he was trying to bait me with based on what he was saying, that I was going to sweep with Gallade at the end there, predicting that you want to have Will-O-Wisp. He was just trying to, he was just being very annoying, so I don't appreciate that, so just keep that in mind. But anyway, good game, Chew. Good luck for the rest of the season, and you'll see me tomorrow for my Week 4 matchup. So later, guys.